specifically.
Awesome. Yeah. So we've come here to talk to you today a little bit about what we do at Eagle Investors, but also give you guys a good information session and answer your questions on whatever you guys may have or any questions in the market or about technology or education or anything like that. So before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know of the agenda tonight. I put an agenda together so we can stay on topic and get through a lot of important content. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is 3 steps to profit. That's what we're going to call this webinar, is the 3 steps to profit. And off the bat, I'll tell you a little bit about what those 3 steps are, and then we'll go in depth into 1, 2, and 3. So the 3 steps to profit, number 1, we have education. Then we have step 2, which is technology. And the third step is alerts or profit. So what we're going to do is we're going to use those 3 steps, education, technology, and profits, and go through to help you guys in the markets and investing and trading by the end of this webinar. The other things we're going to talk about today, Julian's going to be discussing a little bit about technical analysis and things more along the lines of options and day trading and answer some good questions for you guys. And then we'll also be open to giving our market outlook and discussing any specific stocks, securities, anything that's on your mind. I know we'll open it up and Ravi will really help us. And the moderators here at Indian Friends will help us take some of your questions at the end. So without further ado, I wanted to begin with our 3 steps to profit by expanding more on step 1, which is education. So the first topic I have for education is I wanted to make it very clear how the number 1 traders in the world, in the top 1%, as we like to call them, are number 1 trading stocks and then trading options. So a lot of us are retail investors on the call today. I know we have about 117 people joining us, and there's a big difference in the industry these days. And by the industry, I mean both the trading industry and the investing industry, because there's 2 different portions there. And I'll get started first with investing. So with investing, how people draw the conclusion or draw the analogy here is that what the stock market is it's a bunch of it's a small amount of very wealthy individuals who have parked their money in the market. So many people will think that, oh, the futures market or the options traders are somehow manipulating the market, or the SPY or the Qs are moving in a certain direction because of some outside force. But a lot of the times, the large trends in the overall stock market, when we look at long time frames, which is more of investing, is long time frames, we're seeing that large moves and trend changes are based on where the large money is flowing. And by large money, I mean the institutions or the large financial institutions or the large hedge funds or individuals who have tens of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, such as pension funds, and how they're really moving their money in the market. So that's the institutional side. And now we'll get on the trading side, which is more of hedge funds and how the top 1% trade within hedge funds. So I talked to the Indian Friends admins before we got on the webinar to see, how advanced people are, the ones listening in on this webinar. And it was clear to me that most people have a general understanding of investments and trading from the very beginning. But we'd like to get more in detail into things specifically like options trading and tell you guys how the top 1% are trading options in addition to stock. So in the world of hedge funds and trading, you have you say you're a hedge fund, right? And you have $1 billion as the hedge fund. And this is just an example. How the number 1 hedge funds are trading is they're taking 100 stocks, right? And they're doing 1 equity portfolio, right? They may be invested in real estate and other kinds of debt and fixed income and things like that. But we'll talk about equities right now, and US stocks and US equities. So the portfolio manager, who might be the domestic equity portfolio manager for the hedge fund, what they're going to do is they're going to be creating a portfolio of 100 or so stocks. And what they're thinking in those 100 stocks is they're not necessarily shorting those stocks, but they're usually going long in those stocks. And those are long stock portfolios. And they might be choosing those stocks based on their different analysts. So a portfolio manager may have 5 to 10 analysts who are under them. And those analysts are the ones pumping out the ideas, right? And the only way that we can make an educated investment or an educated decision in trading is by doing research and understanding a fundamental view of a company, right? And before we get into option trading, we have to first understand stocks. And what the domestic equity portfolio manager will do is he will take a look at all the different analyst opinions and the different ratings from their analysts on certain stocks. And what they're doing there is they're doing a lot of things like DCFs, discounted cash flows, different kinds of analysis and valuations on the company. And they're saying that, oh, this company is undervalued based on this price target, right? And I have a price target on this stock at it has $10, $15 of upside, right? And the portfolio manager will take a look at all of those different proposals. Say there's 10 proposals a week, right? For different buys when they're trying to buy their stocks. And they say, okay, I think, Microsoft, and one analyst pitched Microsoft and one analyst pitched Apple, right? And the decision the portfolio manager is taking is a decision based on opportunity cost. And what opportunity cost means is I have $100,000. Is my $100,000 better put in Apple stock or Microsoft stock, or is it Salesforce stock? And what they're looking at is based on the valuations and also the time frame where the opportunity lies within just stock trading in general, right? And what they're trying to figure out there is direction, and truly what sets apart the best analysts in the hedge fund than the analysts who might not get the promotion is the ones who are able to incorporate time. And by time, that means saying that, oh, I know that this stock is going directionally, it's directionally bullish because based on these fundamentals, I believe so, and here's my evidence. But also looking at technicals, and that can be based on technical analysis and charts, right? Or also something they may know, that's separate than what other people in the market may not know. And what that sets them apart is their timing, is that I know that this stock has certain upside, but I know it's going to do it within this time frame. But the other analyst is not sure when that investment or trade is going to pay off. So what the top 1% are doing from the very base level on choosing securities to trade in the stock portfolio is taking a look at which securities are going to reap benefits on what time frame. And usually it's the shortest time frame with the highest upside. And that's what they're looking for in the stock trading portfolio. So then what we're going to be doing is diving a little bit more into options trading and how hedge funds are trading options. And what they're doing is, simply said, hedge funds and the top 1% of investors are buying options. And what they're doing is they have 100 stocks in their portfolio and they're buying options on 10 of those stocks. And usually they're buying the options on those 10 stocks, which are stocks that are held also in the portfolio. So in the portfolio, you may have, recently technology stocks have been on fire, right? If you're tracking the NASDAQ or the Qs, right? You see Microsoft, Apple. I know Apple's having some closures recently, but a lot of these big technology stocks have been doing amazing, right? And you see a lot of people making a lot of money very quickly. And I'm sure you're seeing that, in social media, and you're seeing that in different groups that you're a part of, is that maybe people are using different kinds of leverage and derivatives to reap benefits on a certain industry or sector that's doing very well at that moment. So say, the hedge fund has a diversified portfolio. They have some utilities holdings, some technology holdings, some energy holdings, and some healthcare holdings as well, right? But their analysts and some of the top analysts at the hedge funds are seeing that technology is going to have a lot of upside with the current valuations and also the current aspect of momentum in the market, right? And for some reason, they know this, which other people don't know, right? So what they're doing with that information is they're choosing a target stock price, and we'll get onto this later in the 3 steps to profit on step 2 in technology. But what they're doing is they're taking a look at these stocks that they're holding, and if they know something that the market doesn't know, and where options come in is that they're leveraged derivatives. And we're all stock traders first, but we only use options when warranted. So a lot of people think that you can just be an options trader, right? In my book, and I think in many other people's books, there's no such thing as just an options trader. What you are is you're a stock trader who uses options to your advantage when warranted. And when I say when warranted, that's the important part, is how do I trade options, right? Is that I know that this stock is going up or I know this stock is going down, right? But how do I know, should I use options and can I profit with calls or puts? And if so, which option am I buying? Which strike am I buying, and how much am I buying it for? That's the number one question that people are trying to answer in options trading and the top 1%. So we have a few methods to give you more in detail view on, if you know something, how do we know that options are warranted? And then second of all, which option should we be buying on the options chain, right? So we'll get into that a little bit later, but that's the first step there on education. That's a little bit on the education on how hedge funds in the top 1% are trading stocks and how they're trading options as well. And just to say it simply, I know a lot of people will be doing selling options and different complex strategies, but the base of it is that they're buying options, and they're buying options on stocks that they're holding in their underlying portfolio. And the bulk of their capital is in the stocks, and the stocks that they're holding that are long in their portfolio. And they may have, 1/10 or 1/5 of the capital in that overall portfolio dedicated to options trading. So what I'm trying to make clear to you guys is that we can't just trade options without trading stocks. And before we even touch options, we need to know what we're doing with stock trading. And we need to be able to tell where a stock is going. Is it going up or is it going down? And that's separate from options pretty much. So the next thing I wanted to get into in education here is the different ways to trade options, because I'm telling you the top 1% are just buying options. But I wanted to make it clear to you guys is that there's a huge influx of retail investors and traders who are coming into the market right now. And Julian, I'm sure you see the same thing, and and this is every single day, especially for
Absolutely.
us investors, is that Robinhood, for example, right, is very accessible. And what they do is they almost make it seem like a game. That, oh, come in here and you can track your portfolio, and we're going to make it almost like there's the Apple versus the Android experience in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And the Robinhood gives you that Apple experience, right? It's super clean, right? And it's super easy to use, and there's advertisements, and it's almost like to a new investor, it's like, oh, I want to put my money with them because they're with the future, right? That's kind of how we look at it. And a lot of people are going to brokerages like Robinhood and putting money in without an education and understanding that they can trade, that it's not a game almost. It's not a game, right? But a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just purchase some options off the top of their head without doing a lot of research. But we're going to also open up to you guys a little bit about the different ways to utilize options and options trading on either a smaller account, but also on brokerages like Robinhood and Thinkorswim that are different than just buying options that can also benefit your portfolio, if that makes sense. So what I want to do here is share with you guys an options portfolio and a view of somebody who may be using selling options to their advantage. So just give me 1 second here. I'm going to share it. Ravi, can you see the screen properly? And Julian, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, wonderful. So
Yeah,
this is something I wanted to share with everybody, so I just talked about buying options, and we'll get into detail on how you can do that. But what we're looking at from Eagle Investors side, and what we've come to the conclusion of is we've realized that there's a problem in the market, is that there's a lot of people who are joining with money, and they're losing a lot of money off the bat because they're uneducated and they're not sure how to properly manage a portfolio as a whole. Because it's not just one trade which is going to make you consistent and wealthy and successful over time as in the markets. It's going to be understanding from the macro perspective over the long term how we can balance different aspects and trading in the portfolio to become profitable over time. So what I wanted to share with you is I've gotten this. This is from Eagle Investors and also specific funds that are managing their money. This is how certain options portfolios are weighted currently. So a lot of the top hedge funds will just be buying options, but this is a strategy which we wanted to share with you guys on behalf of Eagle Investors on how we can make money over time in the markets and stay consistent. So what I'm going to do here is break down a little bit onto each portion of the pie, right? So what I like to describe this screenshot here is a pie chart, right? And there's a whole pie which makes up your options trading portfolio, right? And we have a separate stocks portfolio, but we're going to be talking just about options right now. And this is just the options portfolio. So I'm going to break it down into each portion of the pie here, or each pie piece, right? So the first thing we have is 20% in here, which is cash, which is the green portion here. And what we say is you should be keeping 20% in cash at all times to minimize your risk and volatility in the overall portfolio. Because what you're going to do is, if a lot of people, what we say is that your goal in the market is not to make money. Your goal starting off is to not lose money, right? And how we don't lose money is we lower our risk and we put less capital and less skin in the game in the market, right? So we have 20% in cash at all times to make sure that we don't blow our entire options portfolio in 1 week, if that makes sense. And we're lowering the overall volatility in our portfolio with cash. The next thing that we have is the 20% over here, which is the second biggest portion of the portfolio. And that's covered calls and different kinds of credit spread strategies, or CSPs. And what a covered call is, and we can explain this later, and if people have questions more on covered calls, but what a covered call is it's a way to hedge your risk on the stock portfolio. So what we're showing here in this portion of the pie here is that you don't necessarily have to use options to make money, but you can use options to your advantage for insurance in the markets, but also managing your different stock positions. So rather than being completely independent from your stock trading portfolio, you can overlay the options portfolio and the stock portfolio and use strategies such as covered calls and other credit spread strategies to your advantage on the stocks that you own to insure yourself or collect a premium over time on a security that you're holding in your stock portfolio. So if you guys have more questions on that later on that specific strategy, we can get into that. But we're saying that 20% can be used for covered calls or different credit spread strategies on the underlying holdings in the stock portfolio. 10% here, we're going to say credit multi-leg strategies. And what this means there's 4 different ways that I look at movements in the market. I look at directional, which is 2 of them, is you're going up or you're going down, right? And then the other 2 direction, I don't want to say directions because it's not direction, is it's called volatility expansion or volatility contraction. And volatility expansion is what we usually call when we're doing debit plays, because what we want to do is we want to buy when the volatility is contracted and we want to sell when the volatility has expanded because the price of the options have inflated as volatility has expanded. It doesn't mean the option is expensive because that's a whole nother topic, but it means that the premiums have expanded in the market or they've inflated. On the flip side of that is credit spreads, which is usually the core position is selling the option. So what that's capitalizing on is the volatility contraction in the markets. And what that means is that if we're just buying options, right? So say we have, we're a hedge fund, right? And we're buying, we have 6 call options on technology and 10 put options on energy because that's just how we feel on the market, right? And we're diversified, but overall we're just 6 buying calls and 4 buying puts out of 10 positions in our portfolio. What's happening is those are all positions that if the market, say the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the NASDAQ, they decide to go flat and the displacement, maybe there's a lot of volatility. Volatility, what we mean is it went up 3% and then it went down 3%. But after 5 days time and over the market week, the SPY did not move at all. The displacement was 0%. There was volatility, there was intra-week and intraday volatility, but the overall displacement was 0%. Those call options, if they were monthly, they were 2 days out, they were leaps, all the calls and the put options are going to lose value because the volatility contracted in the market and there was no expansion of volatility whatsoever. So what we have in here is this is a hedge to your overall options portfolio because what we're doing is we're staying long on volatility. We're saying that there's expansion, the core position in the portfolio is expansion of volatility, but we need that hedge in case the volatility is crushed or there's a volatility contraction in the market. So what we call volatility crush is when the market decides not to move. And a lot of options traders will complain, hey, why did my calls lose money and why did my puts also lose money? That doesn't make sense. Why you told me that, I need to diversify myself, right? Diversify myself between directions, right? And the stock's going up and it's going down, but they don't take into account the other aspect of option trading, which is volatility and the expansion of volatility and the contraction. So what we're doing is credit spread multi-leg strategies such as iron condors, which what an iron condor is it's 2 credit spreads that's betting on a small displacement in the overall price of the stock. So if we're able to be doing, iron condors and different volatility crush strategies and managing them effectively on things like the SPY or SPX or different, market-based indices, what we're able to do is protect ourselves if the market decides to go flat for that week or that certain amount of time, which we've been seeing for, in different aspects. The market goes flat and a lot of people will lose money on options. So this is a very important portion of the pie in the portfolio. The next part we have here is the long-term credit spreads in the portfolio. And long-term credit spreads, and we can get into this, we have a lot of education on credit spreads as well. But what they are is you're pretty much selling options. So for example, you have Apple, which is trading, say it's at $300, right? Somebody may sell the 290 put option, right? And what that's telling us is that we will collect the full premium of the option that we sold to the buyer at that certain expiration if Apple stays above $290, right? So selling options is a lot more simple than buying options. And what we can do is we can use credit spreads to our advantage to capitalize on those more, those less violent moves in the market, if that makes sense. You're able to use options to your advantage it's not necessarily buying a call. We can use something like a credit put spread, which will tell us that the stock doesn't have to go up to this certain point. It just doesn't have to drop below this point. So a credit put spread, rather than being a very bullish strategy or even a neutral strategy, it can be a not super bearish strategy, right? So Apple can go to 295 and then it can go up to 310, or it can stay at 295 and only go up to 300, but that 290 put option never made money at expiration for the buyer. So the $300, so the $290 put sell option, which would be included in this aspect of the portfolio, would have made money even though the stock did drop in price. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more on these more complex strategies that I just went over, we have a lot of different education on these complex strategies at Eagle Investors. And I apologize if some of it's too advanced and I may be jumping around a little bit, but feel free to ask that in the Q&A section. The last thing here is the long-term credit spreads, which I just went over in this part. 20% here is debit single leg options. And what we're saying here is that that's where we should incorporate buying options and buying singles into the portfolios, only with 20% of the options portfolio. And one thing that I would add there is that you can feel free to bumping that up to 30% or 40%, depending on how good of an options trader you are, right? And where you can take that 30 or 40% is from that cash allocation. And again, that's adding more risk to your portfolio because we're taking that 20% cash out there to decrease our risk. If we're really confident in ourselves as options traders and we'd like to take more risk, we're able to take out cash from that portfolio, and it's usually best allocated, and the best traders are allocating that into buying options and using those debit single leg option strategies. The next we're going to have is debit multi-leg strategies, which is risk defined spreads such as debit spreads. So we have debit call spreads and debit put spreads. So that's also betting on an expansion of volatility. And it's very similar to buying an option or buying a call or buying a put option. But what we're doing here is you're able to define your risk and also create insurance. And what you're doing is you're incorporating buying an option and selling an option to insure yourself, but also be having the core position of buying the option. So again, we have more information on that. If you have any more questions on spreads in general, credit spreads, debit spreads, we have everything you need to know on that, and we'd be happy to answer your questions. The last thing here is, 5%, 10% can be mixed in between those debit multi-leg spread strategies. So that's what I had so far on the education part. On the step one, and again, the 3 steps to profit is education, technology, and then 3 is profit. So that gets us through the initial education portion, which is step 1. And step 2 now, I want to move on to technology and walk you through the technology that Eagle Investors offers and why the second step is so important in that 3 steps process. So the last thing I want to add on there to education is that, and Julian, feel free to jump in here, is that the biggest problem that we see is people are uneducated in the markets, and that people come in and that they don't understand, they dump their money initially in, oh, I want to make money quickly in the market, right? Is I have $80,000, $50,000, $10,000, $5,000. It doesn't matter how much, right? But people will jump and throw their money without getting a proper education. And the key is a proper education from people who can truly help you and telling you what the top 1% and successful people are doing in the market. So What we're going what that's why step one is so important is education. Now I'm going to move on to technology here. So the first thing I wanted to show you on technology is a little bit about Eagle Investors and a little bit more about what we have to offer and the technology behind what helps us in the market to make us more successful and why it's so important. So Ravi, can you see my screen right now? It should help you and show that you're on Eagle Investors. Is that correct?
Yeah, your screen is good.
Okay.
Just real quick before you jump into that, Ishan, I just want to quickly emphasize on the last part of what Ishan said because it's very important. The difference between a good trader and a bad trader is, besides the pie chart that Ishan showed you, is sticking with your strategy. You want to have a strategy. You want to know what your strategy is, and you want to stick to your strategy. So that is very important. I just wanted to jump in to emphasize that. That is what makes the difference between a trader that wins once in a while and a trader that wins consistently and can make a job out of trading. That is, in my opinion, the key, the most important thing. Knowing your strategy and sticking to your strategy. Everybody's going to have a different strategy. However, at Eagle Investors, we basically lay down the guidelines for you to follow, what the top 1% are doing, like Ishan was saying. But I can't say enough, Ishan, how important it is to have the strategy down and make sure you don't bend or break your strategy, no matter what direction the market is moving in, or no matter what feelings and emotions you're feeling inside. That is very important, especially for investors that are just starting. Very, very important.
Yes. And Julian, that's well said. And I think you covered that, and we'll talk about that more in the Q&A. Because again, what I was doing is I was showing a portfolio plan, and that doesn't necessarily mean that has to be your portfolio plan. That's more of a hedge fund, right? And that's more of what we're innovating and where we think the future is going is in a strategy like a swing trader like that. But in addition, you have different styles such as day trading options, long-term investing, stuff like that, which every single one of them, you have to have a plan and you have to execute that plan. Discipline as a trader, investor, an investor is essential. And if you don't have discipline, you'll never be successful in the long term, in my opinion. So the next thing I'll move on to is the technology. So let me share my screen again. Okay, we should be good to go here. So the number one thing is, I'm trying to talk about stock trading versus option trading, right? And so a lot of people probably on the call right now are trading stocks, and I'm sure a lot of them are trading options as well. But you have to be able to trade stocks first because you have to get a general direction on where the market is headed and where certain stocks are going. And what that means is you need to know something that somebody else doesn't know. And that's what sets a good trader apart from another trader at the base level, is that you've done your research and you understand that, Google is going to this level, right? Or the S&P 500 is going to drop in a week or something like that. That might be something that right? We have to go in with a bias on that. We know either directionally where something's going, and maybe we know the specifics behind that direction. The more specifics we know, the better. So what I'm going to show you here is a little bit about what I personally follow to get ideas from different traders and large money institutional investors such as hedge funds to make money in the market. So what I'm showing you right now is on Eagle Investors, and it's called the option sweeps. And you can see it here on the left-hand side, it's called option sweeps. And this is a part of our diamond channels here. You can get a free 7-day trial to all of this, no strings attached. We don't need your email, your payment information, or anything like that. You can try this out 100% free. And what we do is we feed the largest institutional block option orders in the market that we can find directly to our platform for you to find real time. So for example, these are just some, and there's hundreds of these that come out throughout the day. And what we're seeing here is we're seeing a lot of different options. So for example, somebody spent in one transaction here. This was an option order from earlier today. They bet on the SPY 315 calls for July 6th. They bet $239,000 in one transaction on that option contract. So what we're telling you here is that somebody with that amount of money just did that transaction. So they might know something in the market that somebody like somebody on the street doesn't know, right? And that's the number one thing that we're looking for. And another big asset that Eagle Investors offers is that we have traders and professional traders and investors who are issuing different, alerts and different, different flow in the market that helps us make that underlying decision on where are the best traders and investors putting their money in, what stocks and specifically what options are catching our eyes in the market right now. So these are very small orders, such as $44,000. I know, Julian, we've seen $10 million option orders go through in one transaction, right? And so what we're looking for as the top, traders in the world here is we're looking for what's the unusual options volume, right? Where are the sharks trading? Where are the sharks circling in the market, right? Who knows something that other people don't know, and who's willing to put a lot of money down on the market, in the market with their real money to show us this, right? And we're identifying this off the open market. So this is just one of the aspects of technology that can help you in the market, is analyzing flow. This works on the short term with day trading because you have things for shorter expirations, such as that 7-6 I showed. We have 7-10 expirations for certain stocks, but also you have leaps and different long-term bets from different investors, which people look to decode. So, we have, this is, the monthly expirations. So it's very important to take a look, and these are just different ideas that are being thrown out to you in the market for you to analyze. The next thing I wanted to show you guys today on technology is moving on to our options chain software. And I have a video for you guys that I'm going to show on YouTube here. And just to give you guys a little background here, is I just showed you how some of the best investors source their trade ideas is communicating with other top individuals in the market. And a lot of what you hear is, oh, Wall Street, right? And, what's Goldman Sachs doing on Wall Street? What's the top hedge fund doing on Wall Street? We're able to identify where these potential big fish are swimming in the market, if that makes sense. Exactly. So the next thing I wanted to show you is more on the technical side, right? So that's the fundamentals, right? You have the fundamentals where what stock is going where and where's the big money and what stock should I be trading at the very base level, right? And where's the price target and stuff like that. This is the technicals behind options and showing you how you need to, which option do you need to buy to make that successful for you based on what you believe, right? So the number one thing we have to have is what we truly believe. And then this options chain software will show you on the options chain, which is the only tool that every single option trader has to use to trade options, is the option chain, right? This software will tell you which option you need to buy. So let me show you guys this.
Success at buying options involves three things. You need to find a target stock price, take the required amount of time to reach your target stock price, and then choose the right option. This is a normal options chain. Stock price, expiration date, and a lot of prices. It's the tool everyone uses to choose the option they want to trade. It's also the place where almost everyone gets confused, when investors are left with this simple and obvious question: which option do I buy? Unfortunately, options education doesn't give you an answer, leaving most people guessing. And guessing leads to guaranteed losses over time. This new options chain helps you choose the right option while teaching you how to navigate the process yourself. A few things have been added. Here's where you'll express your unique view on the stock. This area simply shows you the market sentiment. Where you find the data, we simply shaded everything except these two windows. For calls here and puts here. This is the stock price in white. Finally, we have this column, the risk reward break-even price, or RR dollar. This is the market's expectations. It's the price at expiration built into that particular option, which balances the risk and reward. It's very important to know this price. So how do you find opportunity? Your unique view will create a pointer, and you want the pointer to land in one of those windows. Why is that? because that's where the smartest investors in the world buy options. How do you get the pointer there? First, let me ask you, what is your unique stock view? You need a target stock price and your confidence level on reaching that target. Then you'll choose the amount of time you'll need. This establishes the pointer that will dictate some level of mathematical edge, where the reward outweighs the risk. Let's use a target stock price of 232. It's higher than the current stock price, so you're looking at calls. The puts get shaded, and the pointer lands here. It has some mathematical edge, but it's not in that window. You'll see a warning sign pop up to help you understand why that option isn't ideal. So how do you get the pointer in that window? You can use a higher target stock price. More specifically, you can look at the RR dollar column to guide you. The risk reward break-even price on the first option is 233.12. If we change the target stock price to something higher than that, for example, 235, you can see that the pointer moves to higher strikes. Pick a very high target stock price, like 242, and you'll see the pointer move further away, perhaps even outside the window. In this case, another warning sign will pop up, making sure that you double check your thoughts because your expectations exceed what the market is expecting by a wide margin. Now, how else can you move that pointer? Try changing the confidence level. Greater confidence in your target stock price will allow you to get more aggressive in your choice of option, pushing the pointer to higher call strikes. Less confidence will bring it back in. Either way, your unique view determines whether or not you have edge. Now, there are some more details about edge that you can see by pressing here. Once opened, you'll see the strike, the premium, which you can change to bid price or the mid-market price, the percentage probability of being in the money, the risk-reward break-even price, and these three columns, the OMS, edge percentage, and actual percentage. In the education area, there are several short videos that will further explain what they are and how you can use them to better analyze your decision. For a full explanation, watch 8 Steps to Understanding Options. If you're familiar with
Awesome. So I just completed that video. That's just a really quick preview there on the options chain software that we offer. And the biggest thing that people who use it say is that, you know, I put in my target stock price, but for some reason the pointer is not lining up, right? And what people will need to start understanding, and this is very clear in our education, is that the options market is a step ahead of the stock market. The reality of the situation is that there's a lot smarter people trading options than the ones who can simply long or short stock, if that makes sense. So the option market is saying that, you know, you might think that Apple is going to 232 from 220, right? On this certain point, right? But options are not warranted, and buying options is not warranted in this situation because the option market is already pricing that in. And again, we need to know something that the market doesn't know and that other people don't know to make money in options. So that's just one thing. You know, if you guys decide to experiment with the options chain software, that's a big question we get all the time. But that is included in the 3 Steps to Profit education with Eagle Investors. And I just wanted to share that quick preview. So that concludes step 2, technology. And again, to remind you guys back to our base is we have 3 steps to profit. Is there's number 1, education, number 2, technology, and number 3, alerts and profit. So we got through number 1, education, number 2 was technology, and number 3, we're going to move on to alerts and the profits, right? So I'm going to share my screen one more time here, and we're going to go to the Eagle Investors website. Julian, can you see that properly?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. So I just wanted to, again, thank Indian Friends for, you know, taking us on today for the webinar and letting us give you guys the opportunity to tell you guys, you know, what the top 1% are doing in the markets. One of the biggest things is that there's power in numbers. And Julian, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that more people talking about ideas and more people discussing leads to potentially higher results, especially in this new cloud era and the technology era, which the market is going more towards, is that not everybody needs to be on Wall Street and talking to their buddies to be successful and come up with good stock ideas. Now people can communicate from all over the world and exchange ideas at all times, right?
Absolutely.
So one of the biggest things is, so we teach you the fundamentals of options, is that we'll tell you all the basics, right? We have from the very bottom, what's a call and a put, to what are these complex strategies, like I mentioned at the beginning, such as credit spreads, debit spreads, iron condors, iron flies, and all these more complex portfolio management strategies, right? That's the education section, but that doesn't necessarily tell you all of the fundamentals on how to choose which stocks and which options to buy, right? And where can you get this information to make these decisions on which stocks and who's buying what in the markets, right? So the last thing is, you need to give yourself the opportunities and resources to succeed. And one thing that we have here at Eagle Investors, if you go and sign up for the free membership, it'll take you to our Discord here, which it's very easy to join, and you'll just accept the invite. And it's very easy. As soon as you do the verification, you'll get access to a no strings attached free 7-day trial with, you'll get access to everything, including our Diamond membership package and also our Elite membership package for 7 full days. You get 24/7 support from traders. We have hundreds of clients from all around the world who trade stocks and options, who are very active in our chat rooms, who are willing to speak with you and exchange different ideas. The big thing I wanted to touch on here is the different alerts that we issue. And we have different, we have things such as stock alerts, where we're giving different kinds of stock alerts with technical analysis, and it's all very well formatted. And what we do is we keep track of all of the trades for your viewing in our trade ledger, which is accessible. And you can see that we have many open positions, and we keep track of all of our different moderators' success rates and different trades closed over time, and different breakdowns on how this works. So we're sitting about a 72% overall success rate. Keep in mind, we trade options much more often than stocks. We do a lot of stock alerts, but at the end of the day, if we're buying an out of the money call option on something, buying stock is the easiest exposure. You might not make as much reward, but you're going to have less risk and not have as much risk associated with buying an option there. So here's a little bit of our statistics that you can find on our trade ledger, and these correlate with the different alerts. And we have many different alert channels, such as the stock alerts channel, the ER spreads channel, which is our earnings alerts, and we do complex earnings alerts, and we're very successful in the earnings spreads channel. A lot of what people say is that you can make your first month of membership in 1 week in your trial period just by following the ER spreads channel. We also have the trade ideas channel, where different clients are able to post, our verified traders are able to post their different trade ideas and different day trades. We have regular alerts, which is swing trade alerts, where we do different kinds of debit call spreads and different credit spreads and debit spreads and calls and puts and stuff like that. And we all give this real time, and we give this real time throughout the markets. And we always make sure that this is able to be executed on somebody else's account. And then Julian, I'll let you go on with the Diamond stuff if you want. But we run a live day trading stream hosted by Julian from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single market day. It's live, and you get 7 days for free on the Discord. You can go tune in, and Julian is giving constant market analysis and showing you his screen on while he trades options and stocks real time, and he gives you that different analysis on there. So Julian, I'll pass it off to you. I know that's enough
Sure.
on investors in the alerts, and you'll get more in detail.
Sure. Yeah. Let me take the screen over here,
Yeah, go ahead.
and I can go ahead and. All right. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen right here?
Yes, we can. Perfect.
All right, perfect. So just real quick, what Ishan was explaining about the channel right here, we have everything organized. We basically have everything organized by different types of alerts, the ER spreads, the diamond alerts. We have the regular alerts right here, which are different kind of spreads and whatnot. Everything is, again, everything is live. We tell you what we enter at, and we tell you when we exit. So there is no guessing. We will let you know exactly when we exit. Now, this alerts channel, the Diamond Alerts, is literally hooked to my account. So this is literally hooked to my account. So when I get into something, like let's look at this Tesla right here. I got into Tesla at 231. I got out at 291. Made 20-something% profit within a few minutes, and got out. So this is literally hooked up to my account, and it's live. The second I post it, it shows up right here on the screen. This is the Diamonds channel. And another thing that I want to touch base on that Ishan was mentioning earlier is when you have a lot of people together, sometimes great ideas can manifest, and everybody can learn from each other. So real quick, this is what happened this week. We started noticing a bunch of sweeps coming in for PCG. This is PG&E, the electric company that recently had the wildfires in Northern California. We started noticing slowly the $2 million block orders being picked up every single day, multiple orders, maybe 20 different orders, all priced in at $2 million, picked up back to back. This started late last week. Now, that caught our attention. So we started talking amongst each others. So right away, we're looking at news, and it says PG&E is raising money to get out of bankruptcy. They've sold $5.5 billion worth of stocks. So that gave us an idea, right? You need what you learn in 3 Steps to Profit is to think different. When you want to come up with a strategy, especially for a long call by itself, where it's more high risk, where it's high risk, very high reward. You want to have an idea first, and that's what 3 Steps to Profit teaches you. And the idea, it was, okay, something is going on with PG&E. There's a bunch of blocks that are coming in. There's a bunch of orders that are coming in. So real quick, we do our research and we see what's going on. We see the news, and we start looking at the option chain. That's the video that Ishan showed you earlier. We look at the option chain and we notice, real quick, I try to find something that's going to have the best risk reward, and I'm expecting a big move. Okay, and if you guys looked at the stock price today, the stock price for PG&E, PCG is the ticker. At the highs of the day, it was at 6.3%, and the news for it was actually it moved on the news that it basically emerged out of bankruptcy. So we saw this coming by having access to the stock sweeps. We saw this being slowly picked up in the dark pools by institutions, and it caught our attention. These are what the sharks are picking up. They're picking up $2 million orders, 10 to 20 of them a day for multiple days. This got our attention. So that's the idea. And we came up with an option play, and I just want to show you guys real quick. This is a screenshot from the gains from it today. These are multiple plays that were done on it. There's other ones right here. This is from the same stock, 162%. This is from the same idea right here, 150%. So this 3 Steps to Profit teaches you to think differently when you're trying to come up with a strategy. Now, that's helped a lot of our members, and it's great to see somebody that comes in new, from trading stocks and transform to kind of think differently and approach the market differently, especially having access to all the data here, the option sweep and the stock sweeps. That's huge to me. That's huge to everybody in our community, and that's helping us a lot. Now, Ishan, I kind of want to go over some technical analysis stuff. I want to go ahead and show some charts. Is that next right here?
Yeah, feel free. Yeah.
All right, sure. So I want to show you guys what I stream daily. So as Ishan was discussing earlier, every day I'm on from 9:30 to 12 p.m. Eastern time when the market opens. So I basically look at the market. This is pre-market right here in the gray area. I look at the pre-market very quick, and I have my chart set up. This is set up, by the way. Every Diamond Pro member will get access to this exact setup right here. This is a custom setup that we have. And I have it set up for day trading. I like an hourly, a 15-minute, a 5-minute, and a 1-minute with different patterns, with different arrows right there pointing to different types of candles. So this right here is what I sit at the computer and I stream this for you guys. And I basically enter trades and I read the market and you give me a ticker, I put it in here, it loads it into all my screens and I get a read on it. So right here, for example, we saw that the SPY had a bullish engulfing candle forming. So we saw a big pattern coming. We saw a run coming. Right here, we see a bearish engulfing. Right here, you see a doji, which can mean that the stock is ready to move in another direction. And there it goes right there. So I don't want to get too much into detail about the different candles, but that's what I do during the day. So I sit here and I do different pattern readings on different stocks and different indices. Now I also like to utilize TradingView as well, and we share with you all the different settings that we have on here, such as the moving averages and such as the Heikin-Ashi candles. Now, what I have on here is I like to have my support line that I get from the options bot inside our channel. I set up my supports line. I set up my resistance lines. I set everything up so I kind of get an idea of what the stock is going to move, what range it's going to move towards, what range it's going to move throughout the day. That's very important for somebody who's day trading. You want to be able to see those ranges. See that line? That line was drew there before that stock bounced. So when I see something coming down, I'm kind of waiting for a bounce for a confirmation. So it's very important to have lines such as this. Now I don't want to get into too much details about this. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask at the end, and I'll be more than happy to answer. And real quick, I just want to go back on the Discord channel right here. So the way we have this set up is as convenient as it would get. I would say we have our alert channel, we have questions, we have our sweeps, the sweeps that come in. We have different types of sweeps, blocks, splits, and regular sweeps. And then we have the Eagle Eye, which is something very cool, a specific algorithm we have that detects based on the sweeps that come in, based on the number of sweeps that come in and multiple other factors. It basically shoots out maybe sometimes one time, sometimes 4 times a day, different stocks that you can get into that the algo picks up. And this has a very high win rate. And our members have been very excited about this. We have the trade ideas where some of our verified members can go ahead and share ideas in here. ER spreads, as Ishan was mentioning, for the earnings, and the alerts where we have different entries and exits. So that basically wraps up. Ishan. What I think of our Discord channel and how I present the technical analysis when I'm day trading.
Yeah, wonderful. And Julian, I just want to mention, I just got a question about this, is
Sure.
that, is this just for day traders only? And I wanted to say that absolutely not.
No.
We have, that I know you just showed the diamond alerts, which correspond with the live day trading stream, which is 9:30 to 12 p.m. every day. But we offer swing trades. We offer stock swing trades, option swing trades, also investments. And then we also have SMS or text message alerts, which you can sign up for. We also offer a free trial on that. It's at the bottom.
Yep.
And we have stock SMS alerts or text alerts, and we also have option SMS alerts. So
this is what's on my screen right here. So you will get this texted, as Ishan's saying, directly to your phone.
yes. But we, and we also, one of the big appeals, a lot of people don't just come for the alerts, they also come for the community
Yep.
and the people who are there, because again, we have a team of professional traders and investors, in addition to clients who are also professional traders from around the world, who are ready to answer your questions and give you any kind of educational content, any kind of market analysis on the fly, minute by minute. During the market, if something happens, you're wondering, what did Chairman Powell say? Why did the market just go up? What did Donald Trump say, last
We have a
night?
news bot for that.
What's the analysis? We have all of these that come live fed, and you can get them directly to your phone, and all these different resources here that what we've done is we've created all the resources that you would need to be a swing trader or an investor or even a day trader, options or stock, in one place. And what we do is we knowledge share in our community, and all of us reap the profits together. That's the whole thing, is together, and that we share the wealth, and we really push education. And it's not just day trading and making money. And the whole first portion of this webinar, I was talking to everybody on, you need the proper education and technology before you can truly just start making money. And I think that's just really important to hammer in. So
Absolutely.
thanks, Julian, for sharing your screen. And that's all we had for you on the presentation part, but I'm here to answer questions for another 30 minutes or however long else you need me here. And I know, Julian, you can also help, with questions or whatever people need. So
Sure. Yeah. Let me stop the share right here.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Ishan and Julian. So before we go to the question and answer session, can you also explain about the payment structure and all the plans, what you have?
Yeah, wonderful. Julian, can I share my screen really quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen. And so let me introduce you originally to our website, which is www.eagle-investors.com. Should be very simple. And it'll bring you immediately to our website. And the biggest thing you'll see right off the bat is the free membership, right? And you can read a little bit more about the company. Community, education, and freedom is our top 3 values to our company, is that we believe in a strong community. We believe in truly educated individuals. People are not just guessing and throwing out different tickers and penny stocks. We don't do that. And then freedom is because we're making profits through that education, that community, and we're able to achieve financial freedom, which is a lot of the big appeal of people getting into stock trading and investing these days. So, we take an innovative approach. We tell you a little bit about our winning trades and past profits, and our different statistics, and we have some FAQ there. One thing, so you can click on the free membership, and again, you can try us out for free for 7 days, but I'll jump into the pricing as well. And one of the big things with pricing is, I know, Ravi, we've reached an agreement with Indian Friends, is that we're going to give you guys a nice discount to all the products on the website, because I think that your community for sure is made up of individuals we'd really want to work with, because we don't just take any client, we take a look at who exactly we're letting in to discuss with us and be a member of our community. And I think that the people in this community and the questions that we're getting so far would be people that we're interested in working with. So we're going to be offering a discount. And I know, Ravi, you have a discount. It's called, I think you have the discount that you can send in there.
Yeah, I just sent you in the short message. I will resend.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ravi. And this is 10% off any product for Eagle Investors membership. So we have 4 different main products here, and I'll get through them. So we have first text alerts, which this is very important to note, is that it's the cheapest product. This is an add-on usually, because this does not get you any access to the Discord or the education. This is to get the stock and option alerts texted to your phone. So this is the $37 a month package. Elite package is for beginners looking to start the journey with expert traders. And this gets you access to the elite channel. So none of the day trading memberships, but it gets you access here to the alerts and the earning spreads and the options chat, the stock chat, the different news, different technical analysis it gets you access to, and it gets you access to things like the winners channel and different kinds of testimonials, server guide, and access to discussing with the community, if that makes sense. One thing I wanted to add is, if you go to the Discord, you can feel free to reach out to anybody you see and ask them about their experience. You can talk to us and the people who are giving this education, the pro traders, but I would encourage you to go talk to the clients who are actually using the service. You can reach out to them directly and they can give you feedback on how Eagle Investors has helped them. And this guy talks about his story of Eagle Investors, of making money and then losing money before joining, and now he's joined and now he's doing better, right? So there's different aspects to the community here, and that's the elite membership. Then we have the diamond membership, which is a new introduction in the past 2 months, which is all this technology of the option sweeps, the stock sweeps. You get access to Julian for 2.5, 3.5 hours a day. And I know we do even more content than that. You get access to our ongoing webinars, such as we invited our diamond members to like this webinar and stuff like that as well. And then 3 Steps to Profit is the last one that we have, which is in my opinion, it is the all-inclusive package for anybody who's really looking to get serious with stock and option trading. Specifically, if you're a good trader or you're basically, you don't even know what a call or put is that this is the basic education as well as the advanced education, as well as that options chain software, which we showed you earlier, which will help you choose the right option. In addition, we'll give you 1 free month of diamond membership. So that's 1 free $150 value where you get access to all of the elite and then all of that day trading stuff as well. So the last thing I want to mention is that the diamond membership includes elite membership within it as well. Right. If you have any questions whatsoever on these products, I know it can get a little confusing, and we also offer yearly products as well, which we offer at a large discount. Feel free to join the server. It's completely free, and we'll answer all your questions. You can see all the content, see what you like for 7 full days. And again, we're offering that 10% of all products discount code from Indian Friends. And I know that'll really help out both the Indian Friends community and also the Eagle Investors community. And I think that this would be a great relationship between both parties. So Ravi, thank you for letting me explain that there. And I think that discount code is very important, and I think could save a lot of people some money on these products if you guys enjoy them. So thanks for letting me go through that.
Thank you so much, Ishan. Thank you for answering all the pricing questions. So now I would like to unmute and I will go for a question and answer session. So the first question from Arun. So Arun, I'm going to unmute you. Please go ahead and ask.
Hi, Arun. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm going to unmute you. Sarun, yeah, go ahead, Arun. Yeah.
Hey, good evening. First of all, thank you very much for a great presentation. So I have two questions. The first one is that you talked about the portfolio, for the different options, and you said 20% should be in cash. I also saw that there were a lot of credit spreads, and you talked about, writing naked puts on Apple for 290 strike. Mm-hmm. So I'm just taking one example. Like if that contract goes in the money and you are assigned, you need $29,000.
Right.
So
that's a really good question. Yeah.
So how big portfolio are you talking about? So that is my first question. I have another one. Maybe I can ask you after you answer this, because it could be most of the investors here are retail investors. They are small investors. I don't think there may be few, with $1 million or $5 million accounts, but mainly, that they will be like a small retail investors. So what you're talking about is a hedge fund scenario. Mm-hmm. I'm keen on knowing about more about the retail investor, what size of portfolio that you are actually looking at. And when you talk about selling credit spread in that account, how many contracts you would write, because just one contract with Apple is $29,000 if that gets assigned. And, you're talking about, a delta, which is very closer to your at the money. And there is a likelihood it will get assigned to you. So, I don't feel comfortable doing myself. Right. So I'm just interested to know what you think about it.
Right. Let me explain, because one of the big things that you're talking about is the 29,000, which sounds intimidating, right? Sell 290 put on Apple, right?
Right.
Keep in mind
that's the example.
That's not what the suggestion is in the portfolio. what the portfolio is suggesting is a credit spread. So for example, you will sell the 290 put on Apple and buy the 289 put. So all you have to do is put down $100 in collateral, right? Because what that's doing is these are more complex strategies that we will open up to you about, is called a credit spread, which that would only have a $1 strike difference, where you can minimize your assignment risk, where the point of that credit spread is not to get assigned on the stock. We don't want to get assigned on the stock in that's an options portfolio. Unless that was our plan and we wanted to sell the 290 naked put, but we don't like really selling naked options too much. We think that credit spreads such as selling the 290 and buying the 289 or buying the 288. Some people will buy the 285 if they have a larger account where they can afford to put $500 in collateral down, right? But you could enter, and your other question was, I might not have a $1 million account, right? So maybe you have a $5,000 account, right? Let's talk $5,000. You can still execute that portfolio plan with a $5,000 account, because if the credit spread is only taking up $100 in collateral, you're able to do that portfolio allocation of that $5,000. You can actually diversify with an Apple credit put spread, and then maybe you want to take an energy credit call spread and maybe another Microsoft credit put spread or something like that.
Okay.
So you can significantly lower the buy-in with those credit spread strategies. And this is a great question. I appreciate you asking, because I was going through that complex diagram, right? Without explaining what the credit spread and what that more complex strategy is, but you're able to offset the collateral. And this is something that we find very, very useful to retail investors, right? Is that we don't have to have massive accounts, right? And I would say that the very minimum you really need to get started is $5,000 in trading. But keep in mind, when you're starting trading and investing, you're not starting and putting $5,000 in the market. You're sitting on that $5,000 and not losing that money. Don't lose that money. And what you need to do is educate yourself and understand what these different strategies that are available to you, such as, credit spreads and debit spreads, and how you can, instead of selling the naked put, you can make that spread to lower your buy-in and come up with your portfolio plan. And then you can go in with that amount of money. So there's different ways to do it on a small account, but credit spreads specifically with the smaller strike distance are very useful. And I can actually send a video in the chat, which is behind the concepts on credit spreads, which will help you out a lot, I think. So
yeah, no, I do everything, butterflies, straddles, triangles, and everything. So I don't need to learn, but I'm just asking because even with a credit spread of $1, difference, it's important to understand what strike you are picking, how far, because there is theta decay too. And I'm not keen on making like $5, waiting for 1 week. So if you understand that, and I'm sorry, I thought I understood that you were selling naked puts, on Apple.
Right.
At
I meant a credit spread, right?
So I thought, my goodness, this is like I need $29,000 right away.
No, not at all. Not
at all. Okay. Okay. My second, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I hope that helped answer the question. Again, we work with people with huge accounts, but we actually work with people mostly who have smaller accounts. And by smaller accounts, I mean, we get people in with $5,000 and we get people in with $25,000, right?
Right.
That's the hot range right now, right? That's the true problem, is the people with that amount of money who are going to Robinhood and being uneducated and not understanding and getting assigned $29,000 in Apple stock and then getting margin called. We'll teach you how to not make that happen and manage that effectively, and also target the proper risk reward, right? Is it 290? That was just an example, right? Maybe we're more bullish on Apple and we can play closer for a higher risk reward and manage effectively so we're not assigned, right?
Fantastic. My second question, a quick one. You talked about, your service offering the sweeps,
Yes.
But I have been doing this for many, many years, and I know that many services provide sweeps.
Right.
So it is a very good service, but very helpful for hedge funds, because those are the guys actually who have the first access to information. So for a retail investor like me, or a small account holder, how does it help? Because what I have seen is that when the sweep is published, it is published by 10,000 service people, all over the world. That hey, and the origin is same, one guy, and they all buy the service from them. So by the time it comes to the retail investor, your price points have already moved, and your IV has gone up. So technically what happens is that a small retail investor ends up paying 20-30% more than what was in the sweep, the initial guys. So they are at a disadvantage. So
Right.
how do you address that?
Yeah, Arun, that's a great question as well. And I think Julian can chime in here to, second what I'm about to say. But what we're doing is, the number one thing is we're not just copying and pasting hedge fund trades and stuff like that. That's not what we're doing, is playing every sweep, right? We're not looking at, the weekly expiration and trying to make a quick buck, right? This is telling us the flow of the market, right? What is the ratio between the flow of calls and puts in the market overall over a week, right? What are you seeing in the market? Where is the market going? Where are the leaps right now? Like, who's buying Microsoft leaps, right? How big are the orders right now and stuff like that, right? Also, keep in mind, the sweeps aren't everything, right? The number one step in 3 Steps to Profit is the education, right? And what the education teaches you is how to identify, like a hedge fund, these fundamentally and technically sound companies that you can buy an option on, right? So maybe you might not have the money to show up in the sweep, right? You're not going to be published because you're not putting $300,000 on the sweep, but it doesn't mean your option that you chose and what is not as valuable as what might be provided in the sweep. Again, it's just another resource, and you're very true that there are many different sweep and algorithm services out there, right? But we hope that we give you the proper education that you can use that as a resource to be more effective. The sweeps, right?
Exactly.
Alerts. We have the Eagle Eye, right? And we have alerts, right? And we're evaluating the sweeps in addition to 50, 100 different criteria that we're looking at when deciding on an option contract before issuing an alert, right? So I want to make it very, very clear that an alert is not the same thing as a sweep, but the sweeps are also a very useful resource, just like option chain software, like we showed you, is a very valuable resource as well, right? So I hope that answers your question. Julian, if you have anything to add on to that about the sweeps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's basically, I don't want to exactly mimic what Ishan was saying, but that's pretty much exactly it. We don't the education is the number one focus. Just so you're not throwing money away, that's the number one focus. The sweeps, the blocks, the splits, when those orders come in, those are to give us ideas of where money is flowing. So those are not the alerts. Those are just to give us ideas, right? I agree with you. I agree with you. However, I also think there is times where if you can look at the sweep and look at the pattern, and if you can see if the sweep is right, if it's ready for a setup, you actually didn't get in. You didn't get in. Way after the institutions got in. There is times though that you're absolutely right. We'll pull it up right away when the sweep comes in, or when I notice a couple different sweeps, and I'll notice the price has already moved too much, and we won't touch that. But just to give you an example, Roku came in today at 9:41 a.m. A Roku sweep came in at 9:41 a.m. If you look at the chart for Roku, 9:41 a.m. The price was at 126, and it went on to run straight until 132, right? So the sweep, so that was actually an excellent entry point, right? That's an excellent entry point. The stock was at its lowest, and then it had its run, right? So how do we evaluate? Is this a good day trade? How do I evaluate? Is this a good trade to get into? I'll look at the chart. I'll do a quick intraday analysis. You've been trading for a while, so I'm sure you're familiar with how important candlestick patterns and moving averages, MACD, and everything could be, depending on your trading style and what indicators you use. But we're not jumping into every sweep. We're gonna analyze it. We're gonna look at it real quick. If it looks like a good idea, we want to make sure we get into it early. And
good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, thank you so much, Julian and Ishan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
so we have like another 10 questions in the line.
Sure.
So before to other 10 questions, I would like to introduce Pramod, who is the existing member with Ishan, the Eagle Investors. So Pramod, if you can share your experience for all the members who joined the webinar, can you please unmute yourself and share your experience for 2-3 minutes?
Sure, Ravi. I'm audible.
Yeah.
Hello, कैसा है?
Okay. All right. Okay. So I've been with the Eagle Investors for about 2 to 3 months now. I have learned a lot with their product, because the product not only tells you how to do the due diligence and how to invest in a proper way. Like you have a hedge funds going on, but you should understand that using those hedge funds alerts, how would I place my position into my account? So you buy a call or a put, at what time you're buying is very important, and what strategy that you're using to get into a position is a most important aspect in trading. It might sound more like we are doing a day trading here, but no, that's not the thing. So when anyone says that this is the alert and they say that you do your due diligence, nobody tells the exact thing of doing the due diligence. So, but following the Ishan's 3 steps to profit, that's what it literally says, how to do the due diligence yourself. You don't have to rely on anybody's experience or anybody's alerts saying that, okay, I'm gonna enter this position. So that's critical thing what Julian and Ishan and a couple of other their moderators are doing. I consider them, they're like 5 characters in Mahabharata, one who is aggressive, one who is like play calm, and one who is introduces their strategies and doing their thing. So I would really, you can consider them as the characters of them who enters the position with most risk, with least risk, and with a calculated risk. So that's very critical, and I am following their trade ledger, and it's easily, you can say that there are 70% of alerts are positive. So in a system, it's very important that you know that how much risk profile you have and how much gains that you're making out of that risk profile. So I would really recommend you all guys to get into his product, feel the weekly trial membership that he's offering, and avail the discount that he's providing exclusively for our Indian friends. Thank you, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pramod. So I have a next question here. Just a minute. Is 397 for 3-step process for lifetime cost included part of Elite or Diamond membership or separate? Easy has any option for profit sharing rather than membership option, especially for small portfolio investors?
Yeah. So number one, the first question was what is included? Is the Discord access included in 3 Steps to Profit? The 3 Steps to Profit is the all-inclusive membership that gets you access to the education, it gets you access to the technology, and it gets you 1 month free of all Diamond access. And again, Diamond is the top Discord access that you can gain. It's all-inclusive, including the stream, including swing trade, stock alert, option alert, day trade, all of that. And what you get is 1 month free of that, which is $150 value, including the comprehensive education, which we have over 71 lessons. It goes from basics to even complex strategies. And keep in mind, with that Diamond membership, you get ongoing support and analysis anytime that you want in the channel. So again, it's the all-inclusive, and it does include Discord membership at the top tier for 1 month. And the goal is within that 1 month, you become educated enough that you make enough to stay for your next month or next year. And that's usually what we see happening. So the second question was, do we have any kind of money management service? The simple question is no. The simple answer is no. We will not take your money and invest it for you and pay you a profit share based on that. We are not some kind of fund or hedge fund, although we do have people in the community who are managing their account and money themselves. We're more of showing you exactly how to do it based on your style and educating you truly on how to be investing and trading with your money, if that makes sense, both stocks and options. So simple answer to the second part is no, we do not manage your money for you.
Thank you, Ishan. And the other question is from Vamshi. He's asking if there is a sweep order with 225 SPY calls and 225 SPY puts as a retail investor, what do we make out of that? How does the alert help?
Okay, can you say the first part of that one more time?
Yeah. Yeah, if there is a sweep order with 225 SPY calls and 225 SPY puts as a retail investor, what do we make out of that? How does the alert help?
You know what I'd say, Julian? I say ignore it, because personally, what I do is for the indices, right? You look at SPY, you look at IWM, you look at QQQ, you'll get sweeps all day and you'll have calls and put sweeps, right? One thing that I tread very carefully about on indice sweeps, right? Especially indice put sweeps, is that why somebody could be hedging, right?
Exactly.
With they're buying shares of Microsoft and Amazon and they're going shopping, right? For their equity portfolio, right? But they're buying SPY puts as the hedge, right? Or even be careful on calls. Maybe somebody is not buying the calls on SPY, but since liquidity is so high, they're actually selling to open, right? They're making a credit call spread, or they're selling the calls to open on their existing securities, right? So we have to be very careful with indice sweeps. What we're doing is we're looking at unusual options activity. So on specific stocks, right? Doesn't mean mid-cap stocks or small-cap stocks, but what are $10 million on calls with $5 million in calls after, and then 30,000 on this smaller name on the same strike? Why is that happening, right? Let's take a look. Let me take a look at the chart. Let me read some articles on the company. Let me talk to the Eagle Investors Pro traders. What do they think? Is that a good investment? Let's take a look at the software. Is that the proper strike? Okay, let's take a look at our account now, and we should put 3-5% in that because my confidence is 75%. That's the process. It's a process, right?
Right.
Thank you. So the next question, do they have paper money for practice versus real money like how TOS has?
Yeah. So I'll make it very clear. We're not a brokerage platform. We're a knowledge sharing community who offers comprehensive education, trading alerts, and also analysis and technology. So we're not a brokerage. Our pro traders use Thinkorswim through TD Ameritrade to trade, and also Tastyworks. Those are the top two platforms that we're on. And we are not the same thing, but we have almost a close relationship with them because we're using Thinkorswim and Tastyworks every day. And what we recommend is when you start off with Eagle Investors is you don't touch your real money at first. So I'm glad you brought up paper money, right? You use paper money first for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month while you educate yourself, while you go through the comprehensive education, you understand the plan, you create a plan for yourself, and we help you with creating that plan. And then once 2 to 3 weeks is done and you're practicing on the paper money and understanding how to place an option order, how do you even place the order, right? Figuring out which one to buy, getting different practice. And then once you're perfected on that, then you can go and put real money in the market, because what's the point of investing $400, and then losing it in, a month, a week, whatever it may be, when you can spend that $400 while keeping your money and being able to earn an education so that you can actually make money and you gain a real experience and understand that. So Ravi, I hope that answers the question. But we always use trading. Paper money is so important starting with us in education. You got to use it. Sorry, I think it might be frozen.
So, yeah, the next question is from Raj. What is the strategy? What percentage of premium loss? I will repeat the question. What is the strategy followed or recommended to get out of option when it is going negative, or after what percentage of premium loss?
Yeah, completely up to your plan. In my opinion, it depends. Julie, maybe you want to say how you do it and if it's a set amount. But personally, what I'm not setting a stop loss on my option. What I'm doing is I'm watching the chart and I'm looking at the news and I'm watching my stock and I'm watching my option. And based on the risk reward, if the risk reward does not make sense to me at a given point, I'll exit the position because I'm watching the position. Some people will have 40% stop loss. Some people will have 60% stop loss. Some people won't put a stop loss. Personally, I'm watching the chart, and if the stock, we're not watching the option. The option can fluctuate 20, 40 points, dollars in a matter of minutes, right? I'm watching the stock to see what the stock is doing, because that's telling me how that option will perform, because I have the deep understanding of the fundamentals of options and I'm watching the underlying stock, because that's what's more important to me, if that makes sense. So Julian, do you want to talk about maybe
Right,
what
yeah,
your
it's,
role
I mean,
is?
it's basically, the same, mostly the same for me. I mean, when I, like I said, when we come up with when we put out an alert, there is thought that went into it. So there's a reason why we put out the alert. I personally will not have a stop loss on my alert. I will let it ride out, because, I did research prior to picking out, my option. For example, like the PG&E that I just shared with you guys live, which was an example of what was executed today. What popped today, and the strategy that the thought process that went into it during the past 7 days. Like, that was a real live example that I gave you guys that we profited on today when the stock went up 6.5%. So during, the stock fluctuated a little bit, went up and down, but I was not quick to sell the stock or sell my options or have a stop loss, because I already had a strategy in mind. I already had a target price, so I let it ride.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
for everybody, it's different. Some people may like to exit at 50%, etc. But it's different for everybody.
Yeah. So we have another 5 more questions.
Sure.
Do you have long-term stock suggestions? Also, our discussion was mostly around options. Also, what portfolio size you suggest to start with Diamond membership? I will repeat the question. Do you have a long-term stock suggestions? Our discussion was mostly around options. Also, what portfolio size you suggest to start with Diamond membership?
Yeah. The first question is very simple. We're talking about options. Stocks come first. There's no option trading if we don't know how to trade stocks. So we're always doing stocks. And we have a whole stock alerts channel. We do investments. We do swing trades. We even sometimes do stock day trades, but that's very uncommon. It's usually option day trades. But keep in mind, if there's an option alert, say somebody is buying a very far out of the money call option with high confidence on Apple, right? Why not what's the harm in buying the Apple stock? Sometimes the best way to gain exposure to a move is simply longing or shorting the security. And we understand that at Eagle Investors, and we make that very clear and offer also alerts for long-term, medium-term, and short-term stock alerts and stock trades. So Ravi, what was the second part of that question? Was that, do we recommend starting with Diamond? Is that correct?
Yeah, what portfolio size you suggest to start with Diamond membership?
I would say the best one to start with is the 3 Steps to Profit, because it includes Diamond membership, but it also gives you access to the entire education, which is the 71 video lesson. We also have some interactive lessons as well as some reading in there. If you're really looking to get serious with your trading, that's the package for you. It's the all-inclusive membership, which will include, it has the stock alerts, long-term, medium, short-term. It has the option alerts, long-term, short-term, medium. It has the 24/7 support, as well as the news, as well as the professional traders, as well as the education, as well as the technology. So I would personally say 3 Steps to Profit. And then again, 3 Steps to Profit should make you enough to afford a lifetime or a monthly or whatever is the next step in that process.
Yeah. So any recent alerts for the options? Like any recent option alerts, sorry.
Yeah, so we had a Tesla 1,000% gainer today on the gap up from one of our top traders, Oliver Rios. He has many videos with us on our YouTube channel. He's a professional trader from Louisville, Kentucky. And he posted, buy some Tesla calls yesterday. We were talking a lot about Tesla. We had a lot of members profit on Tesla both yesterday and today. And you guys can go in and see. I can actually share the screen on his call out on that Tesla alert. Also, he had some SPY puts towards the end of the day today. That was a quick, I believe, 100% gainer. It was like 75 or 100% gainer. And we had some different, for ER spreads, for example, we played this week, we played Micron earnings. And we played Constellation Brands earnings, which is STZ, ticker STZ. We had 20% profit on STZ and 12% on Micron. And then Julian, I know you had a really nice PCG and also a really nice swing exit on Plug. Is that correct?
Correct. Right. So yeah, we for PCG today, the highest percentage on that one was 353%. that's the one that we exited on, 353%.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we're throwing out these big percentages. We also do credit spreads and stock alerts, which I mentioned, 20% gain, 12% gain. But the reward was smaller because the risk in those plays were also smaller. So it really depends. We have an all-encompassing kind of comprehensive view on trading and options here. So those are just some of the trades. And, you know, if somebody wants to message me later and ask about some of the best trades of all time, we have some good stories on that. Also on our YouTube channel, I highly recommend you go over to our YouTube channel. We have probably over 40 hours of education that's completely free. You don't even have to get on the 3 Steps to Profit to see this kinds of stuff. Go to the YouTube channel. It's just Eagle Investors. You just type in Eagle Investors. It's the first result you'll find. And we have many, many videos on there with discussions from people from, you know, 20-year Wall Street veterans to current research analysts who write for Citi, Goldman Sachs, and private consultants. So we have macro analysis, technical analysis, everything you would want on that YouTube channel. And I'd suggest you go check that out.
Thank you, Ishan. So the next question is, do you give outlook for SPY and ES futures for the day?
Yeah, great question. So for the day, is that correct? So not necessarily long-term outlook, but some short-term outlook. Is that correct?
Do you give outlook for SPY and ES futures for TE day?
Yeah, so intraday, so we publish a watch list every single day at around 6 p.m. Before every single market day, we have 2 things that are posted every single day. We have watch lists. We have 3 different watch lists. We have an earnings watch list. We have a regular directional watch list, which is betting on intraday movement for the next market day. So we do SPY bull, SPY bear, Tesla bull, Tesla bear, and we do it on 10 different securities, and that's compiled from a list of professional traders. And then we also have our day trade watch list, which is we're looking at Boeing, we're looking at Tesla, we're looking at Amazon, we're at Shopify. You know, what are we going to be trading and what stocks are we focusing on tomorrow? So we also post our comprehensive fundamental outlook on the market for the next market day. So it's what things, and it's usually the top 1 to 3 things to watch in the market. So we have a write-up from our analysts at Eagle Investors who will post their fundamental analysis on what the Chairman Powell is going to say when he goes to testify at the Treasury. Where's the link and what time can you go see it? And what are we expecting him to say on that, and how is it going to affect the market? And we do that from short term, medium term, and long term. And if you go and you just ask somebody, you say, hey, Ishan, or hey, Julian, what do you think on SPY tomorrow? Somebody's going to answer your question. We're going to say, hey, stay tuned right here. And we're going to be talking to you all day. And we think, you know, the Fed backing in the market is very strong. We see some, some stimulus that is coming overnight. Also, the pension funds are rebalancing. And here's a chart on SPY with the different support and resistance levels. And we're going to give you that all-encompassing outlook on the market for that upcoming day, week, and month, and also year.
So the next question is from Raj. Why TTD and SHOP rocking? Is there any reason?
Yeah, that's a great question. I suggest you come to the Discord because a lot of people want to discuss that with you. But the big thing with SHOP is PE doesn't matter at this point. Like for these momentum picks, is the biggest thing that people need to understand is that momentum is an incredible feature in the market, and growth and momentum, right? Is that the technical analysis and also the fundamental analysis on the valuation doesn't matter when everybody is buying that stock that day and continues to keep buying that stock. So what happens is, like I said at the very beginning, is that stocks are a lot of big guys who have parked their money into the market, and stocks go up as more money is bought and inflated and the economy grows, right? So if money continues and there's a huge influx of cash and capital, they'll continue to go up. And it can be on as little as an assumption of, yeah, Shopify, they're probably going to do well their next earnings because a lot of people have been buying well online and they have a good track record in history, right? It doesn't matter on their PE. It depends on the flow, who's buying, how much is buying, where the buyer's at in the market, right? Where's the momentum? And we're going to help you find that momentum.
Exactly.
So I see a lot of channels for a beginner. What channel or alert channel to start with?
Yeah. So the first thing I would suggest is reaching out to either myself, you can see on Ishan S on the sidebar, and I will send you personalized material to get your education started. But the best thing you can do is not jump into an alert, but take 1 to 2 days. So you just got into the free membership, so you have 7 full days. So on Monday and throughout the weekend, you can do some investigative research and look through the different channels and start talking to people. Feel free to reach out in the channel and say, hey, can anybody help me? The same question that you just had for us, feel free to put that in the channels and we'll help you at any time of the day. So hopefully that helps. But what I would say is, do your research. And what that means is researching on that platform and reaching out to individuals, and we'll point you to the right place. I'll send you the guides that we provide and the proper direction on the education and the videos that you need to watch and do your homework this weekend to be successful with us next week.
Yeah, thank you. So what is live trading stream access?
Julian, you want to hit that?
Yeah, the live trading stream. So that will be me. Basically getting on every day, every trading day between 9:30 to noon Eastern time. Sometimes I get on a little bit before that, but 9:30 is when it starts sharp. There's a lot of days where the futures get me so excited that I get on a little bit earlier, and I'm looking at pre-market and we're discussing that, or we're expecting news, big news to come on. Like Trump was speaking at market open today, so we hopped on a little bit earlier today because everybody was really excited. So we hopped on a little bit earlier, so we're all ready to go. The second the market opens, and we can tune into Trump speaking. And a lot of times I also have Bloomberg. Well, actually all the time I have Bloomberg playing as well. So any live economic events that are happening, we're covering that. So when you're in that channel during that time, you're not missing out on any business news that are going on, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah. So the next question is, how many stocks or options alert per day? And do you also support 401k portfolio? And also, do you repair stocks that are in loss?
Awesome. Yeah. So let me just go one by one there. So the first question was, how many stock or option alerts are there a day? What I would say is that we don't put a quota on our traders. We issue more than one a day for sure, right? But we can't tell people how to trade because people are going to be issuing as many alerts as they see fit based on how they're going to do in the market. So why is somebody just forcing an entry into something they're not confident in, right? We need to know something and be confident to be able to maintain our winning percentage and make sure that not just our clients are losing money, but also the trader who is issuing that alert. The guarantee that Eagle Investors has is that that trader is holding that position with their real money. So they're looking at that from their perspective on, what do I need to enter and exit with my real money today, rather than how many are we putting as a quota. We have, for SMS, for example, you get at least 1 to 2 a day. 1 to 2 every market day, we issue SMS, stock and option. And then on the channel, I'm going to say we average probably like 5+ a day, 5+ a day. And that's, on a good day, it's 10 to 15. And we have things like trade ideas, and our clients are always talking about different places. Hey, what do you think of Workhorse?
Yeah.
What do you think of this stock? What do you think of this stock? What do you think of this? Hey, I really think this. Maybe the professional trader from the moderator of Eagle Investors isn't saying it, but one of the Diamond Pro members like Pramod, is saying something, or another Diamond member or Elite member. We have just so many talented individuals in the community that, I'd honestly say it's a gold mine.
Yeah, thank you. So does the Elite membership only give option alert, or does it also include stock alerts?
Yes.
And test alerts?
Yeah, we offer stock alerts, and we offer stock alerts to text, stock alerts to option, but most of our alerts are based in the Discord, and we offer stock alerts and we offer option alerts from long time frame, medium time frame, and short time frame.
Yeah. Will you also alert existing exit strategy in case if the prediction go wrong?
Yes, always. So anything on the Discord that we issue is always included with an exit. And we get many people that ask us, hey, are you still holding this position? It's down, 15%, 30%, whatever it may be. We tell them that we exit the position when it's posted officially in the alerts channels. So the way we've done it is to make the process very efficient, where things don't get covered up. Regular people, regular clients cannot post in the alerts channel. Only the traders who have posted the entry are allowed to post in the in the alerts channel because they're obligated to provide an exit to the alert. And we're very transparent, and we offer that trade ledger and weekly performance we post with a graphic and our statistics every day at the end of the market week. I think that this week's will be posted by our accountant. He'll be posting it either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. So you guys will be able to see the performance on the entries and exits from this past week. And if you go to the trade ledger, which is in the Discord, you can see all of the past performance and track record from our team.
Okay, so that means you will give entry and exit points for stocks, correct?
Yes. Yes. The only thing is on text alert, there's no exit given. Only entry is given. But on Discord, entry and exit is given. I just want to make that clear.
Okay. I have 100 shares of Apple and going to options and selling them for call for particular dollar amount. What would happen if it gets executed?
Can you say that one more time? He bought 100 shares of Apple. Is that correct?
Yes. I have 100 shares of Apple and going to options and selling them for call for particular dollar amount. What would happen if it gets executed?
So he's looking to sell a call such as a covered call, or he's looking to buy a call?
So Raj, I'm going to unmute you. Do you mind asking the same question? So just a minute.
Yeah, Ishan, I think he's speaking about selling as a covered call. So what happens after it executes? That's what is his question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd love to give you some more information and teach you the true concepts behind a credit call. But what we're doing with the credit call is we have 100 shares of Apple, right? What we're going to do is we're going to be selling the at the money or out of the money call option for a specific expiration date. And that's based on, it really depends on our view on the stock is what strike price and expiration we're choosing. However, you're questioning about assignment, right? So say this is an example, complete example. Apple is trading at $300 and you have shares, 100 shares, right? You sell the $310 call option on Apple as a covered call. So what we're doing here is we're using options to hedge our stock, because the only way that the option position, which is the sold, the 310 long call option, loses is if Apple goes above $310 before or at expiration. And then what's going to happen is that call will be assigned. The difference between being assigned a put option and being assigned a call option is that if you're selling a naked put option, right, you're going to be assigned to buy 100 shares of stock per one contract. Inverse, on a call, you're going to be selling 100 shares. So if you don't have the shares and you get executed on that, you're going to be short 100 shares of Apple at $210 a share, right? However, since you already own you already own 100 shares, right? Which is what one option is the right to. If you sell the 310 and the 310 is executed, the brokerage will just sell your existing 300 or 100 shares, right? So there's a risk reward there. So people only really enter a covered call as a neutral strategy, saying that, hey, the market could be rocky in the near future, right? And I want to insure myself so that if Apple goes to 290, I can make a premium and collect the premium off the 310 call that I sold, right? But if Apple decides to go up, I'm willing to either exit and manage that existing covered call before expiration. All you have to do is buy to close the open options position, or you're okay and you've come in with your plan that I'm okay with that being executed, and it'll just take my shares away from me. And I will either take that gain or loss depending on my calculation. So at Eagle Investors, we'll teach you how to manage that position before expiration, but also if you're assigned, we can do this same explanation on the concept behind what will happen with your shares. You have 500 shares, 1,000 shares, 100 shares. What is the method behind that? So that's a great question. It's more technical. And again, our education covers all this kind of stuff. And I hope that answers your question.
So the next one is options for future trading also, and any Forex trading.
Yeah. So to answer the question simply on Forex is we do not trade specific currency pairs. We do not trade cryptocurrency. We're based in equities. And we also, of course, discuss fixed income, real estate markets, commodities markets such as gold and silver and stuff like that. But we're not doing FX trading, and we're not doing crypto of any kind. But of course, it's important to look at the dollar when you're looking at the market and the VIX and stuff like that. So did that answer the question? I might have missed the first part of that.
Yeah, options for future trading also, and any Forex trading.
Yeah, so we actually do offer occasional alerts on SPX. And keep in mind, just because we're not issuing alerts on SPX doesn't mean that we'll be very happy to discuss with you and create trades on SPX. I know one of our professional traders, Alex Brown, he's a lead moderator on the top right of the server. He specializes in complex credit multi-leg strategies on SPX. And he often issues alerts maybe a couple times a week on these day trades and also swing trades on SPX. And what it's doing is we're extracting premium over time. And then you can trade SPX based on the overall positions we're taking on IWM, QQQ, SPY, all these different assets is, it's very relatable. But we don't focus too much on futures, but we do offer some occasional SPX futures alerts.
Yeah. So the next question is, for people who have busy lifestyle, how much time are you expecting to spend on Discord?
Yeah. Julian, what do you think? Because I'm trying to be realistic, right? I'm trying to be realistic is like, you're either a passive investor, right? I've had people contact me. I'm a physician, right? And I have $2,000 to invest with, but I'm busy. I'm a busy physician. Like, there's two different, or are you on a computer and can access it for 2 hours a day during market hours?
I would like to say that we with the different types of trades that we put out throughout the day, we cater to all types of investors and all types of you can be somebody who spends all day behind the computer, the entire market, or you can be somebody who is not even at the computer, who just gets an alert, who enters a position and is doing a swing with us, and exits it a week later or so when we post an exit. So we cater. We have different types of alerts. We have debit spreads. We have credit spreads. We have day trades. We have complex, like Ishan was saying from Alex Brown, complex four-legged maybe butterflies and such, where it caters to every single investor, and it sometimes you may spend 30 minutes. Sometimes you may want to hang out with us for the whole day, to trade along. So we cater to everybody. I hope that that answers it clearly.
Thank you. So since we are exceeding our time limit, so I will be taking the last two questions. So that is from, just a minute. Can we see some expands of successful options, CA, some Lotto calls, example from Eagle Investors?
Yeah, for sure. So I just shared my screen here. Let me go to the Discord here. Let's start with, sorry, just give it 1 minute to load here. Okay, wonderful. So here is the alerts here. Let me show you an example of some of the alerts that were issued earlier today. For example, here is a ATVI calls, which were entered 6:30. This was this past week here. ATV is Activision, and they make video games such as Call of Duty and World of Warcraft and all these different computer games and console games. And then let me just scroll down here. I think he exited this later today. Closed the ATVI calls yesterday for this profit, and he did ×5 as well. So very, very simple, all real time for profit right there. Of course, we take losses as well. You have to understand, and I'm sure all of you guys understand, is that we don't always profit, but this is why we offer the trade ledger, and because we hold people accountable and say that they need to be winning a certain amount, and you can go in and check their track record and see, is this even somebody you'd want to follow? And how is this person trading? What are they trading? For example, Alex is trading more spreads. This is Alex Brown here. He's trading more spreads. Whereas Ollie will be trading, more naked options and call options. So, he entered some different calls and some different entries. Like here's some entries from today. and here's like a diagonal spread exit. And then I'll move on to some of the lotto calls here. Oliver had a wonderful lotto call today from on SPY puts. I'm sure you guys saw the market kind of sell off here on the last couple hours of the day here. He had a lotto in trade ideas for the SPY 113 put for the expiration at $47 a piece. He put 120 bucks on it, and in 13 minutes he sold it for over 100% gain. And then he only did 2, and then he sold 1 more for a little bit more profit as the market was closed, because you can trade SPY options 5 to 10 minutes after close. So again, this is all real time. It's time stamped. He had some big Tesla calls. Tesla, some lotto Tesla calls, staying small, lotto call, 198, exit for 340. So I'm just showing you real time right here that, he also had some giant Tesla calls, 365 to 30. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that for a lotto. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And the last question from Ashish. What's your take on ES? Dip? If so, how much?
Yeah. So it's a great question. And what we're doing here is we're looking at, we're not trying to guess, right? We're not trying to guess and say that, oh, the coronavirus is coming back in 2 weeks because we're guessing and we think it's going to be bad and the market will drop, right? We're looking at these days, what we're looking at during this pullback, right, is we know that we have the Federal Reserve support, right? And that we have so much liquidity being pumped into the market, 0% interest rates. Powell has made it very clear that they're going to do whatever they need to keep the economy in a decent spot. And I think that as an investor makes us a little bit more comfortable, not necessarily super bullish, but it makes us not super bearish. So what I'm seeing a lot during this pullback, right? We had this huge rally from the low. And then we've taken a little bit of a pullback, right? What I'm personally doing is I have a shopping list. I have a shopping list of stocks. I have a shopping list of different spreads, different call options, maybe some put options as well, that I'm looking at, and I'm pretty much looking to buy the dip at the current moment. But I'm a little concerned about a sideways market until we can make a new high. But what we're looking at is the technical analysis behind it and say that if we make a new high, what is the potential gap on the upside for the fill? I thought that, we could go to 315 this week. Like at the beginning of the week, I was saying, we went to 310 and we might go to 315. But if we broke support, where would we go next, right? We're looking at the charts. We're looking at the gaps. We're giving you the potential price targets, and we're analyzing the market as we get the data as soon as possible. Because when we're trying to forecast and guess with the market, we're going to be making mistakes and we're going to be gambling. So what we're going to be completely honest with you and tell you nobody knows where the market is going, but we're going to provide you with the technical analysis, the fundamental news and analysis, and the opinions to be able to make that decision and keep up with the market as best as possible. So Julian, do you want to add to that? I mean, that's the best.
Yeah, it's basically like what Ishan is saying. It's we don't like to do any guessing. I can't really say where the SPX is going from here. And any number thrown out there would just be a guess. The only thing I can do is I can look back at history. So I look back at history. This is the best quarter we've had since 1998. Every time we've had a great run, it's been followed by a pullback. That's all I know. That's in history. Those are the patterns that have occurred in the past. I can look at history, but then again, I also know that the Fed has never put this much money into the market before, right? So I know those two comments that I just made just contradict themselves, but that's exactly why we can't really throw out any numbers, because all you'll be doing is just guessing. Right? We've never had this much liquidity, and I can look back at history and know that based on since 1998, this is the best quarter the SPX has had, and we've always had a pullback when we've had a rally such big. So,
thank you so much. So, can we just go through one final time the membership and the pricing, and then
yep. So the biggest thing I just want to say is that you can listen to us talk about the products and the different education all day, right? And we can talk to you all we want, but there's nothing like going to see it for yourself. And I know a lot of these services out there, they want to say, oh, give us your credit card information immediately and we'll set you up on an account, automatic charge you or charge you immediately. We don't do that. We will let you completely see exactly what we're doing and come make money with us with no strings attached on our free membership. And we offer a 7-day comprehensive free trial to everything on Discord. And all you have to do is go to eagle-investors.com, click the free membership, and it's an easy sign-up process, and you'll get right there. Make sure to read carefully and do the verification, and then also accept your trial, because you need to accept the rules of our chat rooms and also accept the guide and things like that. And then you'll get access. What I would do is from there, go speak in the chats, go talk to us, take a look at the different resources there, reach out to different professional traders. You know how professionals and investors from all around the world, we have over 16,000 members in our Discord server. You can come and talk to us, and we would love to chat with you and give you more information to get you started with us. In terms of the pricing, if you're ready to get started with the pricing, you've had a good experience with us, and you'd like to move forward, you can go to this page. I highly recommend you use the Indian Friends discount code. We don't give discounts very often, and we gave the Indian Friends group a 10% discount code for any product. And if you guys want to use that one, I know it'll really help out the community there as well. So that would just be very beneficial. But we have the text alerts, which is only $37 a month. It's an add-on subscription. You don't get access to any of the education or technology in the Discord, but we offer Elite, Diamond, and 3 Steps to Profit. The main one that I would like to draw your attention to is the 3 Steps to Profit, because it's for anyone who's looking to trade options for profit and do it for themselves. And it's also stock trading as well. Well, we offer the world-class education, options chain software, free 1 month of Diamond, which is $150 value with Julian and all that technology and all the Elite. And you also get the technology and resources you need to succeed in the market. So the 3 Steps to Profit is the all-inclusive membership that includes Diamond. It also includes Elite, and it includes that true education and software that you need to trade like the top 1%. So again, that 10% discount code is really useful. And I know we'll send that out to you guys more often, but feel free to come chat with us. We're on here 24/7 all the time. We have people ready to talk to you guys. So if you want to chat with some real professionals and get all these resources, come join us for free. And we'll love to show you around, and it'll be great to meet you. Thanks.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick, Ishan, I strongly recommend, you guys come by first. Don't look at the pricing or anything. Just come by the room, see it for yourself. Come by the room, see it from yourself. Pramod said it best. All the traders have different styles. They have different personality types, different types of trades that they put out there. Just come by the room. There is no information that you need to provide. Come by, and it's the perfect time. It's a 3-day weekend. The market's closed for 3 days. Come by. All the moderators will be answering questions over the weekend, and everybody will be engaged in talking about all the big events that happen and that are coming up. Come by. Look for different traders such as myself, Alex Brown, Ishan, Oliver, different traders that we have, and what our trading history is, what our styles are, what our win rates are. Everything is posted there. So you guys can do your research for yourself within the room and see. And I strongly recommend taking advantage of this 3-day weekend just to come by the room and just check it out. That's probably the best place you can start. Just coming by the room and just seeing everything for yourself and experiencing it yourself.
Thank you so much, Ishan and Julian. So first one is on the membership. It says lifetime membership for 3 Steps. Membership is one-time, lifetime for $397?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me reshare really quickly and just clear that up. So you get lifetime to the education. So the comprehensive options education course and stock education course, you get access to that. You get, that's lifetime access. You get lifetime access to that options chain software, which I showed you earlier in the video. And then you get 1 month free of Diamond membership. So that's the only variable thing, is the 1 month to the Diamond. But you get 1 month, lifetime free for the education, the chain software, and then any ongoing educational content, you will be receiving lifetime for 3 Steps to Profit as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ishan and Julian, for your time and this evening. And thank you all for joining the webinar, and thank you all. And feel free to reach out to either myself, or you can reach out to Ishan or Julian, and they have their contacts and they have channels in Discord. You can feel free to find Ishan, and you can send your queries. And thank you again, and thank you for your time. Thank you all. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us. And I hope we can, keep the discussion going, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Robbie.
Thank you, Ravi.
Bye.
Okay, take care. Bye.